Okay, Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 2. If you watch this like a comedy, you can get through it. For those you don't know what's happened up to this point in time, after Edward did a vampire cesarean on his girlfriend, yeah, he had to like chew her open to pull the baby out. Which is weird because the baby being really bizarrely done CGI probably could just like morph its way out. That also turned Kristen Stewart into a vampire. Ironically, when she first learns about her vampire abilities, it is the most emotion I've seen her have in probably about 20 hours of movie. She's actually stating something. And her first kill, like a cougar or a mountain lion. I don't know. It was kind of bizarre and just. Oh, okay, good, good. When they show them running really fast, my first thought is, oh man, I hope that when they do the Flash for the Justice League movie, they do not use this. Really horrible special effects for the running. You know, at least when the wolves transform, they look decent, but when they're standing next to people, they still look kind of off. This movie also has some of the most bizarre sections of dialogue. Charlie, that's Bella's dad, doesn't quite know anything about the fact that he lives in an area with werewolves and vampires. Okay. So, Alpaca Face, Taylor Lautner, decides that he's going to show him. And how does he do it? By telling him that, you know, things are going to get really weird while he's taking his clothes off. So you got a guy who just gets word that your daughter's okay. Alright, great. But I gotta tell you, I'll show you something. Okay. Why are you taking your clothes off? It's gonna get really weird. The world you think you know, you don't know. Why are you getting naked? Oh, you're a giant dog. Oh. I'm remarkably okay with this. So then they show him, you know, the CGI toddler. And then in a few short months, they're decorating the Christmas tree. So baby has gone from like toddler to what looks kind of like a 6-year-old. And he's like, wow, you've got like a foot taller than last time I saw you. Yeah, she's now also walking upright and forms complete sentences. They go into the description of the imprinting that happens. Yes, shortly after she was born, Taylor Lautner's character stared at her intently and then gave some sort of love bond thing. He describes to Bella that now it all makes sense. I wasn't meant to be with you, I was meant to be with Renesmee, which sounds like a bad disease. So I look at my friend and I go, oh, wait a minute. They knew her for like 2 years. So you were attracted to, I guess, the eggs inside you that were to become fertilized by your vampire boyfriend and give birth to the child you're supposed to love? Okay. But the bulk of the story, of course, is the Volturi coming to destroy the child, which then leads to a bunch of different locations where they show different people, where it's like, oh, we're going to go to a place that looks kind of like India. It's definitely somewhere in a more Muslim-dominated area, where one of the people's superpower is the ability to control the elements. First you control them, oh cool, hydromancer. That's interesting. No, he controls all of the elements. Okay, that's a pretty awesome power. You find out that Dakota Fanning's brother has the ability to release kind of like a paralyzing fog. Again, that's a super cool power. You meet a girl who's got electricity, you know, but not everyone gets a power. And then Bella's power is a shield. So, which she can project onto people and prevent other powers from being used against them. In a weird pseudo, like, Sue Storm sort of special effect to it. Okay. Different. Other people, of course, can kind of like a clairvoyant sort of thing where they can make you blind to what's going on and change the surrounding area. So decent. You know, and then when the Volturi army finally shows up with Michael Sheen at the helm in all of his super overactiveness. Maybe if they'd have Bill Nighy as like his sidekick, you would have an uber amount of overacting in this. And I still think his outfit is probably one of the best outfits I've ever seen in a movie that's taken seriously. If you know comics, think about there's a Green Lantern villain called Sonar who wears a similar style outfit, where it's kind of like an old-timey bellhop, but he has a cape, very much like the Volturi. So they have this massive battle, which is super over the top, almost like a trauma style, like heads are getting ripped off like it's nothing. It's like, ah, ah, ah. And it's just this uber violent battle sequence going on with no blood, because you can kill somebody who is a giant wolf and it's okay. So super violent and over the top. And I'm thinking, wow, this is great. Like, so many characters have died. This will make for a much more interesting, conclusion. And of course, they're fighting on what looks like this giant barren ice area. That's then when the guy who controls the elements decides to have an earthquake. If he can control the elements, they've shown him controlling, water, wind, fire, earth. You could almost think that where they're at, with it being snow and really cold, he probably could have done something before making a massive earthquake. That's a problem when you have like a dozen abilities on both sides, and all of a sudden everyone seems to forget how to use them and instead wants to punch and kick. Quick spoiler. The whole battle's a lie. Actually, Green's character is touching Michael Sheen's character, then more or less shows the whole battle playing out and him getting killed. And it's like, do you want to go through with this? Your group's going to get decimated by these people. And these people are going to die. A lot of them. Main characters are going to die. You're going to be killed. And like, all of your main people are going to die. A few of them are going to be like, finally I get to die. And will be excited by it. And other people are just going to get just eviscerated. And it's like, oh, I think everything's okay. We can leave. I don't see a reason. Then they show another half-born, who's half immortal, half mortal, and he, of course, gets to eat food and drink blood. It would have been a great time to have shown Wesley Snipes. Him being someone who can drink blood and eat regular food and be okay with it. No, they decided to not go that way. Instead, it's just some random guy from the Amazon. So, it's over. It was super cheesy and bizarre. Ironically, when direct beams of light hit them, nobody twinkled. I thought with 27 vampires there, and occasionally there's a not overcast, that they would twinkle. The end, of course, they're sitting in a field they sat in earlier. Bright, sunny day, no trees around them. They show actual beams of light, still no twinkling. She then discusses, how she's always loved him and how their love is the loving love of love. It was like, okay. Ashley Green's character had a little vision of the future where alpaca-faced Taylor Lautner is with their daughter. Just still kind of creepy. But I guess if they want to do a sequel, they could probably do one where the half vampire, half human gives birth to someone who's a purebred wolf, so then you would have half wolf, quarter human, quarter vampire. But the series is done. Hopefully for some people this is the end of their career. For people who are actually solid actors, this will be a nice launching pad. And I'm hoping that there's just one person in particular who is a quite poor actress just fades away into nothingness.